Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for me to represent IWCS to present this report on our 2012 WoodCulture tour to Western and Northern Europe to you. Oh, okay.
I don't think the mic's working on her.
Okay. This report is based on museums and cultural heritage preserving sites we have visited during the tour, and we'll see how this tangible and intangible culture involved wood, trees, and forest is interpreted and represented in the scope of museums and heritage preserving institutions. And well, I think I only have 15 minutes, so I'll just go through. Yeah. Okay. Where can we find wood culture, and how could we tell the public the relationship of our lives with wood and woods? Answers to such questions are what the IWCS is endeavored to search and discover. In order to find those intangible creativities that is involved of use, modify, or any thinking, and the result of it that is related to and involves of wood and woods. IWCS had organized WoodCulture tour to Europe and Africa within the past 2 months, and anticipated to get to know better of the wood culture that is developed from quite a different ecosystem and ideological tradition in terms of forestry. During our touring in Western and Northern Europe, we have visited quite a number of museums and historical sites where movable and non-movable wooden heritages or cultures that was considered in danger of valuable to safeguard and passed on to the later generations were exhibited, collected, preserved, and studied to present and educate the public for the well-being of entire humankind. These heritage preserving institutions are attempting to communicate and send the messages through the exhibitions of material culture. What other messages related to wood culture are they sending, and how do they approach this, are what we are going to share with you in this event. Okay. The 2012 IWCS WoodCulture tour in Western and Northern Europe was commenced from the 22nd of June through the 31st of July. And during the 6 weeks of tour, IWCS team, we had travel in Netherlands and Belgium, France, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark. Yeah, and well, I'm going to share with you this, well, not each of these museums, because only have 15 minutes, and I'm going to show for you, categorize them in these 5 units of topics. Behind the scene, we're very lucky to have a chance to go to see how the conservator and researchers in museums, how they work and what are they working in the museums, and well, these also include Professor Bass, herbarian, yeah. So since he's here, and so I'm going to start with the Amsterdam museums here. Okay, this is visiting information if anybody is interested in it. And this is it's a municipal museum and tells the history and the lives of citizens of Amsterdam. The museum is housed in a building which used to be an orphanage. Okay, and this is a very interesting exhibition, especially for kids. And it's telling the before the French came and they bring the measurement here, and how to measure how people in Amsterdam, how they measure that food is food and hand, that's a pound's distance. And this because before there's a lot of horses in the city, and they just they're very easy to fill in the canal. So there's a butcher. He just invent these things, and he'll charge people who need to rescue their horses. Yeah, and this is just some models in the museums telling people what is Amsterdam like in the past. Yeah, and so 1800 there was 444 orphans in this building. Okay, and this display here, the pole, this timber here, it's the foundation support of those architectures, and because all the oak trees they are used in architecture from Germany or Sweden, and they were transported downstream by raft the made of soft woods. So as they arrive here, the oak were transported, were used to erect houses, and the raft, the softwood, and they just use it for the support, the supporting port. So everything were used, nothing's waste. And there's Mr. Jaap Boonstra, and he's the curator of the museum and the conservator of wooden material. Okay, this is the corner of the museum. And in this museum, they have 3 conservators, and each of them have this specialization. One textile, metal, and wood. Mr. Boonstra, he's the expertise in wood, and this is his lab. And right, this photos, that's how they record the conservations, each conservation stage. And we're very lucky to have Mr. Boonstra to show us around. And here is one of the object he's working on. This is a replica of an antique rosewood, and the original is not found, is unfound. So they have to reconstruct these things according to the photos and there's research sources. Yeah, but the rosewood is quite rare, and it's forbidding to cut down now, and probably not easy to find it in market. So, but because museum they have a lot of stock stored in the museum, so Boonstra, he can still working on this rosewood chair. And according to Mr. Boonstra, and he's saying that when the museum has, because the community of conservator, they don't like to use those large plantation wood. They want to make things, to use the old things so they can get the best results. So they have to try the best to get the good material. So when the museum has budget, they'll go and get buy the materials and stock them for future use. Yeah, and this is the penthouse where they store those rare woods, including the rosewood. And this on the right is just some scribble of kids previously left. And this another this Goliath. It's a biblical figure, and it's his first big sculpture work. And this is a 1630 sculpture, and it's made of wood from different kinds of tree, which include linden and lime. Those are soft wood that's easy and to carve in. And you can see that there's painting on this sculpture. And according to the research, there are 40 layers. So this sculpture, it has this joints, it can move, and now get the mechanism to move them. So when it moves, there's crack there, so the conservator have to retouch it constantly. So when they have to retouch it, as we know, there's 40 layers of painting, and it's not that difficult for them to determine what is like in 17th century. But now, what you're looking now, the top layer here is the latest painting that passes down from 19th century, and they just simply they have no problem to work on this layer because it's history, after all. And step into history, it's the culture preserving sites. And I have to skip this. This is an open-air museum in Holland. And this extra old town is in Sweden. And this is our guy, Leonard Grandelis, this gentleman. He got the axis, the tool he used to conserve he's the architect of the town, because this is they used a very traditional way to get the plank. That's a Viking way of chopping and cleaving the timbers, and they only used axe to work on those. And so still they conserved this, the whole town, they used the same kind of the technique and skills. And this town, it's an old town started from 1600, and now it has 400 houses within this preserved areas. But not all the houses are from the 1600s. There are 17, 18, and 19. So, okay. So when Mr. The Leonard, yeah, the architect of the town, when he was asked to design a terrace there. Okay. Here, this is a terrace in front of this bakery shop that is during the 70s. And he was thinking that, well, it's a new design, and we are living in this generation, this period. So he chose aluminum as the material, as he felt it's a material that can represent our era. Well, it's in 70s, yeah. So his idea is that because we're living, these are heritage, but there are still people living there. It's alive. It's still there living. So every generation must have their mark on it. So he didn't choose to use wood. So don't think it's a good way to like it blending to the history and emerged. So. And Old Rama, and it's also another wooden town, and it's in Finland, and it was listed as a heritage in 1991, and people there, they got rich during 19th century, so you can see those facade of the houses, very beautiful. And there used to be lace in, they have this lace making industries, but now it's not. It's one house that is a display of those rich people housed, so people know that how do people live in that age. And this is renovation center. It's a center where they help people to repair their houses. Yeah, and this one's something I want to share with you. Said, well, it's very different from those. Nordic Scandinavian country where in they'll when they build something, they'll wait for the wood to dry and to get the best result of it, to have it durable and steady. But here in Finland, they work on fresh wood, and which can shrinking very easily. And to deal with this, okay. And well, this is the renovation center. It's also exhibiting center gallery. They display all those techniques of how they deal with those old houses. It's not very clear here, but you can see that. Okay, this is a frame of window, and this they show you the timber work, the wall. And this structure make it, it let it shrink. But when it shrink, if the frame fixed to the wall, this window will break. So they get this gadget here. So when the structure shrink, and this frame of window is floating, so it won't break. And that's how they deal with the shrinking of wood. Okay, after we have seen the creativity and this imagination of humankind of wood culture, and from this museum, we have this conclusion of what wood culture is about. It's about something we crafted, and it's about the skills and procedure and those related knowledge, and also about the ideology on using sources out of wood and trees and entire forest. Also, there's an ethic and conduct of the profession involving working on it and wood, and the capacity to inspire creativity within different generations.
All right.
And one more thing I have to share with you is something that IWCS is going to. It's a project we're going to a launch. We are thinking about to establish digitized WoodCulture museum, which foster living connection between people and wood in order to create it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry.
That's all right.